us as we uncover the journey, the passion, and the creativity of SeyedKik. From the latest hits to the stories behind the music. Subscribe now.
Ain't got time for the day to delay, so let's go. Cruise, no debate. I love to see a smile when it's on your little face. Wake up, it's a new me. I got my chin up, rock a crew tee. I'm giving no fucks, getting no sleep. I'm staying so high, cause that's my path to peace. And then
Real quick.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
that should be it probably won't, but top of the morning, it's your host Zero Tolerance, and today I'm chilling with my main man SeyedKik. We actually talked to him back in the day, if you guys remember. He actually performed at, what was it, the 2022 Uncle Bender show, right?
Yeah, I was there for the original Uncle Bender show, like the first Uncle Bender, and then I was there for the first year anniversary at Willimantic up there. Pretty fun show.
That was awesome. It was crazy that I hadn't heard of you before then, but that's why I love those kind of those get-togethers and those little concerts, because you get to meet so much more talent than you thought you would. You know, I initially went in there just thinking, oh, I'm just gonna meet Uncle Bender, everything's gonna be chill, and then I meet SeyedKik, and then I meet Psych, and then I meet everybody there. It's like, oh, okay, there's a whole little underground collective going on that not many people are highlighting. So I found like that was the perfect time to find you, for real.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think Connecticut goes unnoticed for a lot of their talents. That's for sure.
100%. But with your extensive history in music, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into music?
I mean, I've been doing music a long time. I started personally publishing and like performing, I guess you'd say, about 7 years ago. I was a little over 13, ambitious, and I got into music because I just loved sound. I love manipulating sound. I loved being able to just take nothing and turn it into something, or hear something and make it feel a little bit better. And at a young age, I was always taking songs on the radio, doing my little parodies to it, making my little remixes. And I just got to a point where it was like I found out, YouTube existed, and I could just look up instrumentals all over the place. It was like heaven. And I just started rapping, I started singing, I started just creating sound that felt good to me. My first performance was with Dave East in Connecticut, Hartford,
Really?
Connecticut. Yeah, I was 13. It was actually the day after my 13th birthday. I went and performed for Dave East, which was a little wild. You wouldn't expect like a little 13-year-old boy, little curly-headed bastard up on the stage. But I popped off, and I got a lot of love from not only the crowd, but from the other artists, the company I was working with at the time. And that just kind of steamrolled me into other shows. I worked with Little Mosey, I worked with Little TJ, Shy Glizzy. We did a lot of work at the younger years of my age.
Damn.
It's pretty crazy because as I kept going into it, I slowed down a bit more. I say I matured, but I wouldn't even say that. I found more opportunity when I was younger because I think they saw the shine that I had, and now
Right.
I got to really prove myself. Being older and falling into that collective, I got to prove myself a bit more. But I got a pretty extensive background, and I'm proud of my background. That's for sure.
I mean, that's killer. I mean, come on, we both know Dave Easton's rapping ability. To even be in the same room rapping or performing, that must have been. Were you nervous? Were you nervous? Because that's
I
like a lot of
was
pressure.
I was shitting bricks, bro. I was shitting bricks. That's that's
For
for sure.
real.
I mean, going into it, I wasn't so like this was, you got to remember, 13, you know what I mean? Most 13-year-olds are like sitting balling at the park or
Yeah,
playing a little video
chilling.
game. This is the Xbox 360 days.
Yup.
This is
Yup.
like those shit. And I had the opportunity to be able to do something different. So I was nervous, don't get me wrong, but I also had a lot of confidence behind me in the fact that I was doing something I know that nobody else around me was partaking in at the time.
No, that's that. I mean, that's the key, though. That's the key to get ahead of the game, is to shove your fears and all that to the side and just do what you got to do. See what comes out, and there's always chance to improve later. So you have to have some kind of basis for that to happen. So yeah, you got to get over that initial step. And it seems like you did that. 13. That is insane. But
Yeah.
Do you think like in that time, I don't know if you can really remember, but who were you listening to at 13 years old? Who was Sidekick listening to?
Oh man, honestly, I had a really odd music taste growing
Mm,
up. You know, I grew up with a single mother of three children, and she was very young when she had all of us. So she still had a very trendy taste. She listened to a
yeah.
lot of the new music at the time. So you know, when I was little, apple bottom jeans, like I was just
Yeah,
bumping
yeah.
at a young age. So like from R&B, you know, there's a little bit of Nas sprinkled in there. There's some Aaliyah. I love me some Alicia Keys. You know, I like
She put
my
you on to Aaliyah?
bro, she
W.
put me on, bro. She
W.
put me on
W.
Slick Rick. You name it, she was
That's
there
what's
for it.
up.
And my mom definitely kept me, you know, being the middle child, we had a good bond. I think that's a thing that goes for almost all families. The middle child is the one that like really
Bears the
shares a
responsibility.
connection. Yep, bears
Mhm.
responsibility, shares connection, and she laid her taste and her trends and her interests on me. And a lot of those artists I'd say were, you know, late '90s, Biggie, Nas,
Yeah,
early
yeah.
2000 artists.
I think well, like that kind of sound, if you've noticed, is making a comeback. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
Like
yeah, it
everybody's
is.
doing the poppy 90s, 2000s trend right now. And like what I like about a
Mhm.
lot of your music is it's just timeless. Like if you're thinking about rap, like if I'm thinking about okay, underground rappers like true hip hop, I'm putting Sidekick in the mix, you know, because you still got that sound. And it's not like I know a lot of people still stick to the I don't want to put you in this category of boom bap, but I know a lot of I know a lot of motherfuckers will go that route and it just be
Yeah.
cookie cutter, never go anywhere. But yours is different,
Yeah.
you know, like I want to listen to it again. It's not like, oh, you're just a homie from around the way that,
Yeah.
just been pushing your
Yeah.
music out and I
You ain't
just
heard it
wanna
before. It's
yeah,
it's a taste of something you heard with a twist of something you haven't, and that's definitely why I appreciate it because that's just making music. You can do what you want with it. I get to be able
100%.
to break away from that cookie cut and boom bap style of music. Though it is great music, all music is good music, but I'm glad that I can separate myself and be listenable. You know.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's how you garner more of an audience. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
even with your song Speak On, I recently listened to that. I'm like, Sidekick has done drill. Wait. What? Where's more of this? Where's more of this? Where's that? I love that too. Get some
I'm a
more
firm
songs of that.
believer in all music is good music, and you're not an artist unless you try everything and or everything that comes to you. And that's what I think gets skewed nowadays is that there's a difference between rappers and artists and this, that, and the third. You'll go on Instagram and you'll see, a lot of these people fall into drill. The last like what
Mhm.
4 years of the music scene has
Drill.
been UK drill, NY drill, Chicago drill. Everybody just with their own styles of drill.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I like to get down. You feel me? I like to
Yeah.
get a little funky, but in the same token, when you start to publicize violence and negativity at such a high rate, it just gets to be a little out of hand. I like Speak On a lot because
Mhm.
for me, it was like I get to be ruthless. But in the same token, I wasn't talking about murdering. I wasn't talking
Right.
about like laying bodies because that's just not the
Right.
life I live or the life that I aspire to have. So, I'd always love to go back to it one day, but I wish that I can purify, the content that it has.
That that was a real statement you just said. That was real. I think a lot of people are gonna appreciate that because I mean it is like at the same time, like you said, music is music, and it is a little bit
Hmm.
of a trend, but it doesn't always have to follow the same beats as every other song in that genre or a particular subgenre it does. So yeah,
Yep.
that's a good sign of an artist. You don't have to stick into that box or that square peg to be like, oh, you have to say this as a drill song, or you have to say this as a rapper, or you have to say this in your songs and all that stuff. Like, I don't really catch any of that in your stuff. Like, there's some underground artists like that I rock with and a lot of stuff, but like some of their lyrics, I'm just like, yo, like
A little
that was
far fetched, a
wild.
little out of the box.
A little out of the box. Like, we know you're not catching bodies like that, and we know you're not getting like that. So
But don't get
it's
have fun if you're gonna have fun, but don't
right.
take something serious that you ain't serious about. And life is a serious thing. Music to me, at least, is a serious thing, and I take pride in my work. So when I do stuff like that, I just don't want to be seen negative. And I hope other people will start to, step out of their own shoes and look at themselves from my listeners' ear and be like, damn, I sound a little mean. I don't want to, I don't want to be
Scare the
heard or seen
audience.
that way. I want a
Right.
family. I want to grow. I want to create a base, a company, and that type of negativity and violence ain't gonna put you there. That just makes you a pawn.
100%. And speaking of taking a step back and like listening to your own music, is that part of your creative process? Like, how do you approach writing songs? Do you start with
So for
lyrics,
me,
beats, or concept, or how do you start?
oh, I mean, it's really weird because
Mm,
I think as an artist, and almost any artist who sees, hears, or knows about this, things just come to you. When you have a creative mind, sometimes you just get a little melody in your head. You might have heard it before somewhere. You might have tried to think of something, and it just hits you. So sometimes I'll start with a little bar. I'll just
mm,
grab my phone, type some notes in. I'm a big pen and paper guy, so I carry a notebook around with me everywhere I go, and I like to see the world around me, see the beauty I have, and I work off the feelings that I get. So a lot of times I'll write lyrics. Sometimes, I'll just be like, damn, I just want to make a song. So I'll hop on YouTube or I'll go and contact one of my producer buddies and I'll go and find a beat and then start from the beat. It really just depends on the feeling I'm in, I guess. But when
yeah,
it comes to making it, bro, I'll listen to a song a million times. I'll change the song a million times
yeah,
until I feel my best about it. And that's just how I take my music because I want to feel good. I try not to skew it for the listener's ears or for
right,
anybody's specific opinion. I just want to feel good about it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. I move on. But at least I learned, along the way that I'm creative there, but maybe I shouldn't follow it a little too hard. I should try to slice
right.
it up a bit.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a good way to look at it. So can you kind of talk about the process of making the song Breathe? Like how was the process of that? What were you thinking about in that time? What was your inspiration for those lyrics?
Um, So I recently, being from Connecticut, I recently moved out of Connecticut. I suffered a car accident and I broke both my legs. I broke my
Mm,
back in two places and I punctured my lungs. And it took a lot out of me. I was bedbound for a long time. I was in between spots in my mind, and I got the opportunity to come out here and move to Florida and take care of my great grandparents, which for me was an amazing blessing to be
mm,
able to just take up. And I realized transitioning from where I was to where I am that I didn't breathe manually enough. And I mean that in like a serious sense, like it's one thing to breathe, it's one thing for your lungs to breathe, but it's another thing to just take over. And I don't think people realize that enough is that it feels good to just release all that stress and let go of all the worry and the burdens in life. And it's just breathing, man. It's kind of that's really all it is. And
it's a simple
like
but good concept. I feel you.
it's exactly the simplicity is what really takes it to the next level is that,
Mm,
it's something that we all know how to do, but something that we don't do enough. And I think that if everybody just sat back, listened to their own little voice in their head and just breathe, man, just breathe, let it all go, you're good. And with the
mm.
video complementing it, the nature, the beautiful views, the bright colors and vibrancy, I think it not only helps push you into breathing, but it also makes you feel good about doing it.
Right, 100%. I mean, even like, I know a lot of people will have like certain stigma around like just meditating, but like, if you've actually tried that for like a week straight, because I did just like 5 minutes outside, it's a whole different thing. Like, even after a
Yes.
long day of work, you feel like rejuvenated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't feel beat down, even if you had like a really shitty day. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. And I think
Mm.
there's so many more ways to meditating than people believe. I think everybody just has this idea of crisscross with their
Oh
fingers up.
yeah, right, right.
Like,
Hell
don't
nah.
get me wrong. Like, yeah, sure, we've seen Gandhi do it, but that's not everybody's way of getting to that point. And that's why for me, breathe just breathing
Yeah.
is my meditation. Like I
Mm.
can be anywhere, there can be a war going on inside my head, outside of my body, anywhere around me. And as long as I'm taking control and I'm breathing, literally just take control
Mm.
in and out, bro, that stops everything
That's the
around you.
key.
You're back. And it's very helpful, that's for sure. My meditation is just breathing.
Back into the conversation that we were talking about earlier about your creative process and just how you go about music. Can you tell us what a typical day in the studio for Sidekick is?
So Yeah, I can. Studio is a weird day for SeyedKik because I think a lot of people get the studio and the idea of a studio blown out of proportion. I own a home studio. A couple of years ago, I thought it was wise to invest into myself and invest into my knowledge, be able to create the sound that I want. Now, being in your own space, typically I'm just hanging out where I live.
Mm,
I'm comfortable, and that comfortability helps me feel a lot better about myself and what I'm creating without any form of judgment or opinion. So I always make all of my music in my bedroom. Now, with Breathe, like
mm,
a song where I'm confident and I know its sound, I'm confident that if it was mixed and engineered by a professional, um, that it would have a great effect. So sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'll take a song that I wrote, always
mm,
prepared. I never go to the studio unprepared. That's the Don't waste your money. Like the studio is not a place to go and write music. Your home is. You go outside, do something, but you don't go into a studio and waste another person's time just watching you write through a notebook. Now, sometimes you can have edits. Sometimes you could be like, oh man, that sounds a lot better than this. I do that all the time. I'll get in, and when I wrote Breathe, I knew the chorus and I knew the first verse and I knew part of the second verse. And I was like, you know what? I'm confident to bring this there because as I go, it'll come to me. It wasn't a worry of, man, I'm going to want to track this song and get
mm,
up a new one. The studio for me is a place to fulfill the energy that I felt while making the song and to live out the feelings that I have while making the song. You know, it's a great place to be. It turns you into an artist. If you already are an artist, it gives you that oomph of being
mm,
one. And I think I don't know. From start to finish, I'm short. I'm quick. I'm in and out. I lay my bars. I
mm,
dap up my engineer. I say, let me know when you got the file, and we move on from there. I'm not crazy on effects. I'm not crazy on, heavy sound changes and voice boxes and that and the third. I
mm.
just like keeping myself real, letting you hear me for what I gotta say. And it's very simple. Make my song, go in, rap it, on my way out, wait for it to pop up, and then give it to the people.
Jerry's really cool, says all this